Thank you for joining us on the Evolve Your Brand podcast. I'm your host, Ollie Amirkhiz. For all your finance needs, I'm the person to go to. So definitely make sure you look me up. Other than that, I am very, very excited. But before we get to that, I just want to give a huge shout out to Icon Industries, Shane ×3, because you love yourself so much. You had to go hire 2 other people. 3 people, I got so much love for you as you make me look better and better each time. Steven, it's a sad moment. We're down to 1. But the main one, Stephen Porter, we lost the eel, man. I know I'm sad about it. And the rest of the crew at Icon, we appreciate you. Without further ado, Leanne Teston, how are you?
I'm great.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm excited to have you. Lux Finance.
Yes.
Okay, and where are you joining us from?
I am from a little town, London, Ontario, Canada. So I am about 2 hours west of Toronto.
Toronto. So you came all the way to join us on Evolve Your Brand podcast?
Absolutely.
From Toronto?
Yes.
You're so cool.
Thank you.
And you have a funny Uber story. What happened on the Uber? Get it?
So I flew in yesterday morning and I got in the Uber and he said something to me. I can't remember exactly what it was. And so I responded and I said, and in my response, at the end of my response, I said, hey, and he's like, you're from Canada. How did you know? I didn't even realize I was doing it.
You know what the best part was? Like off camera, you're like, yeah, that's what we say. I'm like, we all know that. We know that people from Canada say, hey, I love it.
I didn't even notice it before.
I know. But see what happens when you come to San Diego. Okay, so this is your second time to San Diego.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What do you think?
It's fantastic here.
Right?
It is.
Yeah.
I feel so at home here.
Okay.
I really do. The people are amazing. The weather is amazing. You know, it's fantastic. I can't say enough.
We use this show as a recruiting tool for San Diego.
Yes, and you should.
We will. We will absolutely use it. So let's talk about you. So did you grow up? Like, give me a little background on Leanne. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in an even smaller town.
Okay.
In southern Ontario, Corunna. So Corunna at the time was probably only about 3,000 people. We had one stoplight. One gas station. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I used to say that the town was so small that everybody knew how many sheets of toilet paper you were using. Like, everybody knew everything about you.
During COVID, that must have been really expensive. Yeah. I had to go there.
I actually haven't been to Corunna for several years, but
3,000 people. Okay,
yeah.
So what's it? I've grown up in big cities all my life. What's the experience? How is it different growing up in a town with 3,000 people? Like, what's the biggest difference?
Everybody knows who you are, and so you can't get away. As a kid, you can't get away with anything.
Got it.
Because you can ride your bike down to the corner store and, you know, or if you're, you know, playing around with your friends and doing something that you're not supposed to do, everybody's going to know about it. You know, your parents are going to know before you even get home.
I love it. So you basically, if you get in trouble, everyone's going to know about it. So it gets back home. I know.
No matter what.
Yeah. Cell phones these days. Like these kids, like I was wondering where one of my kids was the other day. I'm like, you know what? Let me on the phone. I'm glad we didn't have that when I was a kid.
Well, and I was just going to say, we didn't have cell phones back then.
Thank goodness. Like I would have,
you know, it just,
my parents didn't want to know what I was doing. What made you decide to want to move out? Like what, after being born there, how long did you live there?
I lived there until I finished college. So
okay. Wow. You went to college there too?
I went to college in Sarnia, which is just about 15 minutes away. And as soon as I was done college, I was out.
Okay.
I started with a little trust company in 95. So August 8th, 1995, almost 30 years ago now, that I started my career or journey in the financial industry. And it was shortly after I started that I got a promotion. And at 21 years old, I moved to Toronto by myself.
What was the best moment about moving to Toronto when you were 21? Do you recall like what you were excited about?
Yes. I was in my brand new apartment. all by myself, and it faced the CN Tower. And I went out into my balcony one night and it was all lit up and it looked beautiful. And I looked at the CN Tower and I'm like, okay, I'm 21. I'm here. I'm on my own in this big city. I'm going to make it here. And I did.
Where did that determination come from?
My mom.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
My mom has always been someone that says if you put your mind to it, you can figure it out and you can get yourself there. It's all about making the commitment and putting in the effort and having the determination. If there's a will, there's a way. And I firmly believe that.
Do you remember a story about her that stands out where she demonstrates that?
I remember when I was probably early teens. My mom had not, she went into teacher's college very, very young. I think she was only 17 years old. And she's, one of your typical overachievers. And so she decided for herself that she wanted to go to university to get an actual degree because she had gone to teacher's college but didn't have, a formal university degree. And she made the commitment to make it happen, and she did. So for that number of years that it took her to do that degree on a part-time basis, she would teach all day at school. So she was a primary school teacher, and she would come home and sit in the dining room. She had her little office set up in the dining room, and she worked and studied until late in the night, went to bed, got up in the morning and did it all over again. That took an incredible amount of effort and determination, but she made it happen. And the celebration when she had her graduation, it was fantastic.
What did you learn from that?
You can do anything that you set your mind to. The sky's the limit. Nothing is impossible. There's no barriers.
So you moved to Toronto, 21 years old. What's that look like after? Where does that take you after 21?
So I moved with the bank or the trust company, and I was not loving the banking world.
Okay.
So I then got a job at a private financial planning firm downtown Toronto, right at the corner of Bay and Adelaide, right in the thick of the, finance area downtown Toronto. And it was the energy there. Everybody there has the same goal to work hard and be successful. And those are the kinds of people that I really thrive being around. So I really learned a lot there, and that's when I started growing my business.
Got it. What did you not like about the banking industry? How come you left?
The banking industry, I have found, and this is going to be a little bit polarizing, and I don't want to start controversy. However, a lot of the banking industry is extremely profit driven.
Okay.
And I didn't like walking in the door in the morning and being told, you have to sell 10 visas today. My attitude is, if the client needs a visa,
right,
I'll give them a visa. But I don't want to give them a visa just for the sake of giving them a visa. And I can remember there was a specific instance where a client I was working with had really overextended themselves from a credit perspective. And giving them a visa was not a good idea for them. However, in speaking with my manager, they still wanted me to go ahead and do that because that would provide them with more profit. And so it just went against the grain of what I believe in.
I 1000% agree with you. I think a common misconception is that the bank is not your friend. The bank is there to make money. You know,
They
and
have
there's nothing
shareholders.
wrong. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Their obligation is to their shareholders. Like that's just how the world operates. And once you understand that and you embrace it, you're like, oh, okay, well, now I need to go get advisors and people that actually have my best interest in
Right.
mind versus the banks. And so we deal with some of the same exact challenges. And I think the truth is the truth. Like if people are under the illusion that the banking industry has your best interests in mind and they're not there to make as much money as possible. Yeah, they want to solve problems. I'm not saying that they
For sure.
don't, but they want to do it at the maximum margins possible.
Right. I would rather hold my integrity and make less money than to put someone in a situation that is not in their best interest.
Yeah. I don't know if most of the business world operates that way anymore.
Probably not.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's good though. It gives you a competitive advantage, in my opinion, because if people know that you care about them.
Yes, I actually do care. I don't think that I could sleep at night
Good.
if I was not doing something that, or if I was doing something that wasn't in the best interest of that individual.
Amazing. So you leave the banking industry. It just doesn't match up with what your moral, what your principles are. You go into a space where you have a lot more synergy, the energy. How does that experience go? Talk to me about that.
It was really exciting. With the firm that I was with, they worked with very high profile individuals, CEOs of many of the top companies in Canada. I got to know and work with and do planning, investments, and insurance for some of the wealthiest individuals and families in Canada. That was, I learned a lot from them. The most fun part was that I was doing planning, investments, and insurance for a lot of the Canadian NHL players.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Okay.
And so I got to fly to different places in the US working with these NHL players. And there's a lot of perks that come with that. Courtside seats at a basketball game.
I was going to say, you're going to have to call up one of your NHL player friends and be like, give me an endorsement. That's awesome. So you got to, by the way, hockey is so much better in person.
Yeah.
It's so much better in
Yes.
person. Now I understand what people meant by that. It's so much better. So are you a hockey gal? Do you love hockey?
I enjoy hockey.
Okay, good.
I enjoy any live sporting event. Now, would I turn on the game on a Saturday night? Probably not.
That's okay.
Unless I was with a bunch of friends.
Yeah. Unless it was a player that signed up for your program and they're... I'm just kidding. We should.
Back in the day, we got to, hang out and spend time with the players, which was a lot of fun.
That's so cool.
I got courtside tickets to the basketball games and got to hang out with the basketball players after that. I had some adventures that I will never forget.
That's amazing. That's a cool story.
Yeah.
Okay. Since we're onto that, like, what was the coolest event you experienced? Like, what was the coolest adventure you had?
I think the coolest one would have to be when I went down to meet with a couple of the Dallas Stars.
Okay.
For confidentiality purposes, I can't say
Yeah,
who.
that's okay.
I was standing in the locker room with a couple of my colleagues because, of course, I was the only woman that was there and with my colleagues. So we were standing in the locker room and all of a sudden, again, name to be withheld, somebody came out of the showers completely naked, not knowing that there was a female. In the locker room.
That was the unexpected surprise.
It was.
And how did, what was your facial expression?
I was
I was
early 20s and very little world experience at that point. And so it was a shock, but I can laugh about it today.
Okay, good. I'm glad we get to share this laugh with you. I'm just imagining Leanne's facial expression like, what in the world?
Oh my gosh. It was fun.
That was a different kind of show.
That was a very different kind of show. Yes.
See, that was good.
Yes.
Right there. All right. So you have that is actually a really cool experience. So what transitions you're learning, you're practicing? What were the life lessons you're learning during this period of time?
During this period of time, I was learning to have my own tenacity.
Okay.
I was learning the skills of finance. I was learning a lot about how to interact with different kinds of people. As I'm sure you can imagine, sitting down with a CEO of a major public company is a very different meeting than standing in the Dallas Stars locker room.
Very different.
Very different. So I learned how to be very versatile. I learned to have appreciation for all different types of people. And having a lot of determination, a young woman in the industry trying to build up her career and make a name for herself took a lot of work.
Is it a male dominated industry up there?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, like what are we talking about? Out of every 10 people? Really? Okay, so 10%.
10%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that you have to be ferocious. You have to hold your own.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
And it hasn't changed.
Really? Okay.
It is still that way today.
Huh.
Yeah. And that's why I do what I do.
Interesting. How come you think that is? You know, are you specifically talking about Canada, or you're just saying in
I'm
general?
talking in general,
Okay.
because I see it all over the U.S. as well.
Yeah. Talk to me about that. I'm curious. How come you have that opinion?
It's heartbreaking. I have seen so many women come into this industry, the financial industry, investments, insurance, what have you, and then leave again because they don't get the support and the guidance that they need to be successful. Again, I'm not trying to start any drama, but the reality is that the balancing act in taking care of a family, a lot of those actions fall on the woman's shoulders. Raising the kids, making sure they've got their lunches packed, and, making the meals, taking them to gymnastics, PTA, all that good stuff. A lot of that is on the women, on the moms, and now today with the baby boomers getting older, it's the sandwich generation. So now there's parents to take care of in addition to the kids. It's really hard to do all of that and put a ton of effort into building your business as well. And that is one of the reasons why, that's a huge reason why a lot of women decide to leave the industry. It's not that they don't have the skill. They don't have the support. They don't have the mentorship. They don't have the guidance. Right. It's very different. Imagine wanting to go with a colleague after work or having lunch, whatever the case may be, just to talk about business, maybe do a little brainstorming. And then all of a sudden a rumor starts that you're having an affair with that person. It's not true. You're not doing anything different than, any of the other advisors in the office.
Right.
But because you're a woman, the assumption automatically is that, oh, well, you must be sleeping together.
Yeah. Assumptions run rampant. Everybody, it's easier to start rumors than actually dig in for the truth.
Exactly. So those are the kinds of things that I have seen women having to navigate in the industry. And maybe it's like that in other offices or other industries as well. I don't know. I don't have experience there, but I can tell you that a lot of that happened in the industry when I was working.
So how is this solving that problem as far as being able to empower, women to stay in the industry? What are you doing to help? What's Lux Finance doing?
Number one, I am showing strategies how you can build your business without having to buy leads and make cold calls. That in itself takes a lot of money, but it also takes a ton of time and a ton of effort. That is time that is taken away from all of the other areas in your life that you want to and need to tend to. That's number one. Number two is having a community of other women that are experiencing the same joys and challenges of the industry itself, so that they can know and feel like I'm not alone. It's kind of like you're in a fishbowl in a way,
Right.
And you're on your own island, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Is the industry, I mean, I'm trying to figure out, your industry, is it very like you're on your own? It's not a team atmosphere or environment?
I was fortunate that I was able to work on a couple different teams.
Yeah.
So working on a team does make it easier. However, you still have to bring in clients. You still have to, regardless of whether you're on a team or not, you still have a job to do. And if you're not pulling your weight, you can't stay around.
Oh, of course not. Yeah, you got to perform. So with your academy, what exactly are the fundamentals that you're teaching them? To be able to get. And I agree with you. Like, I think cold calling and doing cold outreach is very time consuming. So what exactly do they get to learn in your program as far as the mentorship and coaching is concerned?
What I do is take them step by step and show them how to position themselves on social media, how to get out of obscurity on social media. You can have the greatest product or the greatest service in the world, but if nobody knows who you are,
right,
it doesn't matter. You have to have a way to stand out and have somebody see why they should be dealing with you versus the person next door. Because at the end of the day, people in the industry are all offering very similar products and services.
Right.
So you have to show why people should work with you. And so I'm helping them get out of obscurity on social media, how to use social media, and how to attract the people that they actually want to work with. So they're not making those cold calls and, trying to throw spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah, and there's a lot of spaghetti as an entrepreneur that we throw at the wall. There's a lot of spaghetti. I'm running out of spaghetti sauce sometimes.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the successes that people have had in your program. Is there someone that stands out to you that you can talk about their journey?
I always talk about a former student that I had named Shannon. So Shannon, when she came to me, she worked in the health insurance industry, and she was struggling. So much so that she was considering leaving the industry. And I said to her, Shannon, before you make a big decision like that, let's work together. And if by the time we're done working together, you still feel that leaving the industry is what you need to do, then by all means, at least that you've done everything that you could. She said, okay. And I would say it's about 3 months later, give or take, I got a text message from her, and it said, Leanne, I just submitted $40,000 in applications this week. 26,000 in 2 days. So anyone in insurance knows that that's huge.
Right.
That's massive. And it wasn't too long after that she was named one of the top 15 health insurance agencies in the entire state of Missouri. So she went from almost leaving the industry to the top 15 in the state. And I'm really proud of her. I mean, she cried, I cried. It was
Okay, so what did Shannon say was the biggest difference after working with you? Like, what was it that really helped her break through? Walk us through that.
I think it was someone like myself that knew how to navigate the industry and to put yourself out there really was the change that made it work for her. I mean, she was incredibly hardworking.
Right.
But the strategies and the support, they just weren't there. So one of the things, because we all still network.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I was talking about in my group was how to, make yourself stand out, or how to talk to people when you go to these networking events. And oftentimes I see it, either there's individuals there that are kind of like standing by themselves against the wall, or there are groups of people from the same organization that are just kind of standing there amongst themselves. That's not networking, right? That you can do that anywhere.
That's not networking.
That's not networking.
That's basically doing at a networking event what you can do in the office.
Exactly. So I gave her a couple of tips. When you go to a networking event by yourself, and I've been to plenty on my own, get yourself a drink. Personally, I prefer the red wine, but get
whatever drink you want. I'm getting water right now. I'm going dry right now. So okay. I'm getting water, but you're getting red wine.
I'm getting a red wine.
Perfect.
And what you do then is you walk up and start talking to somebody that is by themselves, standing with their back against the wall.
Look at you.
That person will be so incredibly grateful that you have approached them and that they now have a person to talk to, so they're not feeling and looking so awkward. And not only that, now you have a person to talk to.
Look at you.
So,
it's very practical. You know what I mean? And you're right. We need people that are helping us get out of our way sometimes.
Yeah.
We all need that.
Yeah.
Whatever sector you're in.
Exactly. And that's not just for the financial industry. That's in any industry. And it's unfortunate that it's only been probably in the last, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years that I've really become, or started to become, more comfortable in putting myself out there, because we're always scared of, okay, what are people going to think of me, or what do I look like, or do I look stupid?
Okay,
or
I'm interested. Okay, so you've been in your industry. On August 8th is your 30-year anniversary in the financial world. You came up with this program, like you've accomplished, you've done it all in your industry, right? How come you decided to go on your own and do the impact for these people? Why not just do that working for another company? How come you want to do it on your own?
I'll tell you a story.
Good.
So I would say probably about 7-8 years into my career, I found myself in the position that I was a single mom to a 2-year-old daughter. And I left Toronto. I moved to London, where I live right now. And I was fortunate to have my parents or my family close by so that they could help me out. For years, they picked her up from school, fed her dinner, got her to bed at night, that kind of thing. Because there was oftentimes I would be working until late and she would be in bed by the time I got home. And there was one night in particular, and she would have been early teens by this time, but still, it doesn't make it any easier. Wasn't old enough to be home alone at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And I got home and I saw a note on my bedroom door, and it said, "Mom, I miss you." And that just crushed me. Like I just, the mama guilt just, it stings. And I said, okay, That's enough. No more. Like, you know, I'm not ever going to get this time back. And so that was the pivotal moment that caused me to start going down the rabbit holes. And I said, I got to figure this out. There's got to be a better way. I shouldn't have to choose between my career, which I love, and, you know, my daughter, my family, and the other things that are important to me.
You know, it's awesome that you bring that up, and that's great that you had that realization. I think sometimes it gets too late in the ball game, and we lose that time, and there is no getting it back. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How old's your daughter now?
She is 20 now.
Okay, what's her name?
Emily.
Emily. Okay. So what's awesome about Emily? What do you love?
Oh my gosh.
You have the biggest smile. Oh my. All right, tell us about Emily. You're smiling very big. Bring me in the loop.
Girl. She has got to be one of the most grounded young women that I have ever met.
Okay.
She will call me out on my BS.
Really?
She's not afraid to do it.
Okay.
If somebody's got to, you know, kind of make me get real or look at, you know, she's the one that's going to do it. She'll say, Mom, you know, blah, 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 whatever.
I wonder where she gets it from.
I don't know.
Does the apple fall far from the tree?
You know, I'm proud of her because I think in that way, I grew up very much a people pleaser all my life.
Right.
A large part of my life. So to be able to see her stand her ground and say what she needs to say and just call it the way it is, I'm really proud of her for that.
Great job, Mom. It's not easy being a parent.
No.
Okay, what advice would you actually, I'm very fascinated and curious by different parenting. What advice would you give a young family in this day and age? What's the best?
Don't give up the time. Make the most of it. It's going to be gone before you know it, you know, and you can't get it back. So, you know, turn off the Netflix and get out there and do some things together. You know, one of the things that I really enjoy now that Emily's older, and I wish that I had have done more of this when she was growing up, is rather than buying, you know, for birthdays and whatnot, like these big expensive gifts, use that money for experiences. Go on a trip.
You're my kind of people. I've been thinking about that a lot. I love what you're throwing down. I'm picking it up. I'm all in. I think it's so much better to create adventures with our kids and, you know, getting personal trainers and, you know, coaches. It's crazy to me, like the awakening I've had as far as becoming a better parent every day. Putting a lot of effort on it. That's what's going to change the world.
Yeah. Yeah. So Emily's going to be 21. She's going to be 21 in August, end of August.
You're going to have to bring her to San Diego.
Oh, that's the plan. You know, I've never been. Neither one of us has ever been to LA. And
No. We don't bring the LA word here.
No,
those people in LA, you Dodger fans, you.
I was thinking, you know, some time in San Diego because I absolutely love it here, but you know.
Yeah, you have to go to LA.
Yeah, we both really want to see.
You've
LA.
never gone?
No.
Okay.
No.
You go one time.
Yeah.
You know. See that? You heard that. Yeah. I love poking fun in LA and San Francisco. San Diego's the best.
Yeah. Well,
like,
you know
I'm curious your opinion when you go and you come back.
I will let you know.
Right? You will let me know. I'm glad that you're bringing her. Has she ever been to California before?
No.
Let's go.
Yeah,
she's Mom, you're never going to be able to get her out of California. I just want you to know that.
I know. I want to move here.
I know you do. I know. I'm so excited.
Like I'm actually like legitimately.
I know people in real estate, by the way.
Yeah. So I've heard,
right? You're awesome. Okay, let's get back to Lux Finance. You've gone through changes with your business, right?
I have.
Big changes?
Yes.
Monumental?
Yes.
Okay, when did you start Lux Finance?
I started Lux Finance back in 2020.
Okay, right. COVID. Great strategy.
COVID.
Awesome.
Yep.
Nice. That was a
It
joke.
was, yeah. Actually, it did actually work to my advantage.
It did.
It
Okay,
did.
do tell.
Because when COVID hit, that's when a lot of advisors started to realize that the traditional methods of business building were not going to be sustainable.
Can you elaborate on that? Like, what were the traditional business methods that were archaic? Oh, so you're basically saying that industry is archaic.
The industry as a whole is very slow to move.
Right.
Very slow to move.
How come?
I wish I knew that answer.
Well, what are your thoughts about it?
There are a lot of the older generation that
Right.
are still working in the business.
Right.
And so less adaptable to change.
Got it.
Maybe.
Okay.
However, if the industry doesn't start changing to keep up with the times, they're going to be left with the dinosaurs.
Yeah, 1,000. I mean, look, Leanne, we're dealing with the same thing when it comes to like, I'm in the finance industry. We're dealing with the same nonsense.
Yeah.
When it comes to a loan originator, yeah, great. You can do a loan. So can every other bank.
Yeah.
Like, what value proposition do you have to give me? Because if all you do is a loan, then you're a commodity. I'll just go shop your rate. And you don't bring me any value. No. All you're doing is giving me the loan. You're not telling me about strategies. It's like going, the best analogy I like to use is like you're going to the surgeon. Like you're going to diagnose yourself. Like go for it. Like why go to the doctor? You go to a professional that gets their license because they've actually done there. Yeah. Like you've been published. You're on, you've been on different networks and everything, right?
I have.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that to me is a true expert. What's been that breakthrough? Like, I know you said it was archaic. So the tips that you're giving are to bring the industry to the forefront.
Let's get to the present day. We can't build the business the way it used to be done. There are only an estimated about 1% of financial advisors that are actually using social media to build their business.
I'm sorry, what?
1%. One.
Uno? It's not very good.
No, it's not. However,
you're so right. Oh my goodness. Hold on. I'm reflecting back on the financials advisors we've had on the podcast. You're right. Wow. Interesting. Yeah, isn't that because of like they talk to me all about the regulations? They can't talk about this. They can't talk about that. What can they talk about that they don't talk about?
Themselves.
Awesome. I love you. You're awesome.
Isn't
it so good?
You just said
so
that
good. So good.
You have to make yourself stand out. You all are offering a similar version of the same thing. Why is somebody going to work with you versus the man or woman down the hall or across the road? You have to differentiate yourself.
It's logical, right?
It is.
You're going to fight an uphill battle. I will let you know that because, well, I'm just being real with you. Yeah. Like people that are established, they just don't see the value as far as building a personal brand, marketing and advertising. And the question I asked them is, how did you build your business in the first place? You didn't market or advertise?
Right. But if they've already got a big business, then chances are they started it years ago before social media was really a thing. So it's a different game now.
Way different.
And if you want to explode or accelerate your business, or if you're just starting out, you have to get with the times.
I'm going to add to that. If you actually want to stay in business, you better adapt. Because soon enough, like, I don't know if you notice, but the older generation is getting older. They're not getting any younger. Mm-hmm. And so in 5-10 years, if your database hasn't transitioned, and I'm sorry, I don't get to dictate who my consumer is. Mm-hmm. The audience gets to dictate who the consumers are. And I agree with you. Like there's a huge need for people to, certain industries, especially the financial industry, to come with the times. Like we got to be more than just a loan or a solution. That's right. We got to be connectors and care and show that love, and sincerity.
Exactly. And I can't remember what the the number is, but the billions of generational wealth that is going to be,
it's obscene.
It is.
Yeah.
And so if you want to capture some of that for your business, you need to be on social media. If you want to keep that in your business and not lose it to somebody else, you need to be on social media.
I'm going to add to that. So in real estate, I can't talk about your industry. So a lot of younger individuals have come in. They're deploying social media. It's a great strategy. How do you argue with a winning strategy? I don't. I actually respect people that come up with a winning strategy.
Yeah.
Even if their skill set or their knowledge and experience isn't at that level, they're doing a better job of out marketing and advertising. And if you're an established business owner and you can't out market and out advertise when you have all the advantage, right now you have the capital. Soon enough, they're going to have the capital and the knowledge and awareness to do the marketing and advertising because they're at it. Oh my goodness, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm just
100%.
saying. Okay, now I'm really, really digging what you're doing, which is, so this individual coaching, what have you seen with your students? Like, what shift are they seeing recently? With your business changes, like what business changes happen? And then what have your students said?
So the biggest piece that I help with is getting my clients to understand that they have to show who they are as a person and actually have the confidence to get themselves out there. And there is a way that you can do that and learn to feel more comfortable. It's not that there are so many marketers and
yes
out there.
Talk to me about that. Yeah.
Right?
So many, you've spent how much thousands? Are you in six figures with marketers?
I'm in six figures with mentorship.
Right.
And
marketers it's all false. Yeah. Okay. So you are
150,000.
What's your experience been?
Give or take.
What's your experience been?
My experience with a lot of the mentorship programs that I have been a part of is that they give you a bunch of videos to watch.
Right.
And then they say, oh, okay, thank you very much for the thousands of dollars. Go watch the videos. Have fun. Not helpful.
Oh, it isn't. You mean to tell me you can't watch a video and then ask questions from a video on how you actually fit that to your personality and make it work?
How are you going to apply that to your own personal situation?
Got it. Do you see the sarcasm here?
I do.
That's not coaching, by the way.
No.
That's Netflix.
Yes. Yeah.
I could do that on YouTube. Thank you so much for that.
I was just going to say that. You
can
do that.
$10,000 coaching program that you recorded 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so I spent, there's one mentorship in particular that I'm thinking of. I spent $10,000. I got a bunch of videos. I got a weekly Zoom call with 100 other people so you can't ask questions. You're competing with 100 other people. So you don't get answers and you don't get any results. And that's not the kind of mentorship and coaching that I provide.
Got it. See the difference? See, when I think about a coach spends one-on-one time coaching you. This isn't mass coaching. I didn't sign up for mass coaching. And I think that's where it's really, really, the coaching industry should be very cautious. Because soon enough, what they're going to do is they're going to start building a really, really bad reputation. And that's just people need to wake up and realize that they have the power of reviews. If someone doesn't, if their coaching program needs to improve, let them know.
Yeah.
Like, hey, your coaching program needs to get better. That's not what I signed up for. Because if you're going to do that to me, that's why I love school. They're charging like $100, $150. So if you're going to put online videos, that's to me, that's fair market value.
Yeah. Yeah. But, for $150, you're not going to expect
private coaching?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. You're delusional. That's not going to happen.
Exactly. So when I'm working with my clients, I'm rolling up my sleeves and I'm getting in there.
Get it.
I'm doing intensive quality checks on the different building blocks of making their business accelerate. I want to make sure that they know how to apply the strategies to their own situation. And there's a ton of marketers out there. I see it all the time on Facebook. Oh, generate insurance leads.
Yes.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yes. But they've never been in insurance.
Exactly. And so they don't know the difference between a final expense policy and an IUL and what it means and how to talk to people.
Okay, this is the back half of our thing. I love that you're going there. What's the name of the show? Evolve Your Brand. Let's talk about branding. Okay. So one thing that I've noticed in the marketing and advertising space is people that are great marketers and advertisers, but they're not great at the industry that they're marketing and advertising with. Mm-hmm. Do you agree with that?
100%.
Okay. So what does your industry need to know? If I'm a financial advisor, planner that could leverage your services, what do I need to know about what the next generation of competition that's coming? Because does it matter that I'm better than them as far as my experience if they can outmarket and advertise me? Does it matter if I'm better?
You know what? You could take the top marketer in the world, but if they don't know the industry and the difference between different types of investments or strategies or whatever the case may be, you can't win business being generic.
Right.
And most marketers are only going to be able to be generic.
Ooh.
Sorry, did I hit a hot spot there?
It's actually, no, it's true. That's what I learned. You were nails. I'm glad, good for you. That's what I learned. You can't outsource you.
No.
You can't outsource you.
No.
And that's what people are looking for. They think content creation is going to happen on its own.
No. No.
Is that going to happen on its own, Leanne?
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
You need to be you, and people need to know who you are, what your business is, and what you stand for.
Right. So here's a question for you as you continue to grow your personal brand, your platform. What's been this experience like for you? What did you learn from this branding experience with myself, the show, what you're going through with Limelight? What have you learned about branding, marketing, and advertising that's helped you become better?
Number one, authenticity, be yourself. I don't need to be perfect. I am far from perfect. One of the pieces of feedback that I get regularly from people that I spend time with, but also women that are responding to my advertisements and my content, is that, Leanne, I was attracted to you because I really resonated with what you had to say and that you're real and that you're authentic. And I really take that to heart. That means a lot to me. It's kind of like, Sally Field, like, you like me, you really like me. The Oscars or the Grammys.
I know Sally Field. Come on, girl. Now you just aged both of us. I don't like you right now.
God, sorry.
Don't listen to her. I don't know who Sally Field is. Forget it.
But it was kind of like that moment, right? And so I'm learning every single day that it's okay to fly my own flag and have my own opinions and thoughts. And,
yes.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to fly your flag for you.
No. It's a work in progress, but every day.
It's never going to change.
Yeah.
It's never, I've been at this for 5+ years. I continue to evolve. And we do that in our business. It's natural to do it with our personal brands too, because we're going to get better, especially around the network that you're in. Is it worth the time and resources that you're allocating to it? Is it worth it?
Yes. Is that
You're laughing at me?
Is that a rhetorical question? Or?
I don't know. Some people, I get it all the time. I don't need to build a personal brand. It doesn't matter. I've owned my business for 20+ years. You've been in it for 30 years. How come I should evolve? My website doesn't need video. I can get the same quality content on my camera. Yeah, sure. There's a lot of people that don't see the value of talking about themselves and building a personal brand because I don't think they realize that we're our companies.
Mm-hmm. We are our companies.
We are. So how can you tell me your company doesn't benefit from you having a personal brand?
People want to deal with people. They don't want to deal with companies. Maybe back in the day, but not today.
Really? Okay. How come you have that opinion? I agree with you. Like, how come you think that it's changing today where people want to connect with people versus companies?
it's all commoditized
Right.
now. You know, that you can, you know, people are just going to like, well, they're going to shop the rate. They're going to shop the premium.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know. I myself personally, I have paid more knowingly for a service because I liked the person that I was dealing with versus getting it for a cheaper price somewhere else.
Can I share something with you? You know what's funny? Anytime I talk to anyone, I'm like, okay, so how well do you do your profession? I was asking, like, how well do you do your profession? Okay, do you get paid well?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah. I'm like, how come you get paid well? Because I'm really great at it. So am I. Because you can go get a loan at a Rocket Mortgage. You can shop premiums. You can do all those things. When you have a question, though, and you need someone that's actually going to take the time to give you a solution and you're going to trust that advice is in your best interest, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there 10 years down the road. I'll be there 20 years down the road. So you can absolutely shop me. Go for it. Just understand, like, I'm very competitive already.
Yes.
And for the value that I offer, it's phenomenal because you get the personal touch and attention. And some people, that's value too. And some people aren't. That's okay.
Yeah.
Like, if all that matters to you is the lowest interest rate, I would 1000% go and get the lowest interest rate. And I hope I cross my fingers for you that you have a great experience.
Right.
Because if you lose your earnest money in real estate, if you jeopardize your earnest money, the bank doesn't care.
No.
Like, it's your money.
Yeah.
Like, they don't care if they don't perform because they're not liable. And so when you give the truth about an industry, which it sounds like you want to do, I think, you know, instead of talking about the problem of, hey, we're highly regulated, we can't record content. Well, what can you talk about? Which is what you're talking about.
Yeah, you can talk about yourself. You can talk about your values, what you stand for. Get people to know you as a person.
How is this experience like? You're noticing a huge amount of success. You're resonating with people. You're getting commitments. That's got to be gratifying for you. Amount of work that you put in. Talk to me about that experience. Like, you have a new sense of hope, energy, and vibe. How has that made you better? In the past few months?
It's exhilarating. I sit back and I'm like, wow, is this for real? Is this really happening? And I sit back and I'm like, yeah, actually it is. It actually, we've had conversations about it, right? It's actually happening and I'm thrilled and it just motivates me to do more and help more people and, you know, to keep improving myself and, you know, keep going.
You're out to reshape an industry.
You bet I am.
Fuck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. See, I love now, as I've gotten to know you, and I think this is the power of like relationships. It's someone can watch us today and they're going to get such incredible insight into who you are, what your values are, what really, really matters. How can you not like a person like that? You know, how do you not trust a person like that? It's like, what would you encourage to people that are in the financial space that are, Leanne, you're insane. I would never get on camera. I'm not recording anything. That's just not what I do. What are they going to expect over the next 5-10 years if they don't do it?
I have students right now that are, you know, super scared to do it. And I say you're never going to grow unless you get comfortable being uncomfortable. Like I'm sitting here right now. I'm still nervous.
Really?
But I'm doing it.
You were nervous?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Absolutely.
awesome. I can't tell. That's great.
Oh, okay. Thank you. But like, I'll even tell you another quick little story if we have time.
You want time? You got time. Go.
It was less than a month ago. Okay. Less than a month ago. I did a live on Instagram and I was sitting in my car. I did a live and I kind of fumbled trying to stop the video, so I fumbled. Oh, okay, whatever, big deal. And someone close to me said, yeah, I saw that. You got to take that down. You have to take that off your Instagram. And I'm like, why? Well, that is just like, you fumbled. It was dumb. It was stupid. And I'm like, okay, where are your live videos? What have you done?
Did you say that?
Yeah, I did.
How come? How come you said it? I think it's freaking awesome.
Because I'm putting myself out there. You're not, you haven't even tried. This individual, and no names, you know who you are because you'll be seeing this. You don't even have a social media profile, let alone. So how can you possibly say to me, because I fumbled in turning off the
That's
video?
Good. I actually, can I give you my outside? So I've studied the best of the best. Gary Vee, Alex Hormozi, Seth Godin. I've dug into marketing more than, I'm 5 years ahead of most people because I wanted it. Because I figured, what was the competitive advantage? If I'm new in my industry, I'm not competing with someone that's been in the industry. Okay, let's do this. This is freaking awesome exercise. I started in your industry. Yeah. I've been a year in. The only advantage of where I could beat you is social media marketing. I'll crush you on that. So when I crush you on that, what does it matter that you're better than me when you have experience? I'm the one that's out marketing you. And that's how that's how this is happening. Industries are changing because the people that are infiltrating these industries are great marketers and advertisers, not necessarily great at the profession that they're selling.
Right.
Scary. It is scary.
Yeah.
But we do have to step it up because what these individuals can also do is take these younger folks, mentor them, and now we're giving back, and we're mentoring people, and they're helping us create content.
That's right.
Because they're great at that. See, this works. This works, folks. We're coming out with strategy.
The mail you're sending me.
Well, and this is, do you know what I mean? Leanne, this is where collaboration comes in. And so you have the knowledge, you have the years. Why not take on a person that's new in your industry, wants to learn, and has the tools on social media? Yeah. Isn't that a better way to work together?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think it's absolutely great that you're encouraging your industry to really, really step it up and come into modern times with dude, we have to record video. People in my industry, you don't record video, oh my goodness, you're toast. You're done.
Right. That's right.
You're done. Because I heard a very interesting thing. This is great for you as you dig in, and you're gonna love me by the time we're done. So Leanne's my kind of person. We're gonna throw some fire on our marketing and advertising. I think what's gonna happen is this: people that are starting now, okay, we're not gonna hit the full scope of this for about 3 to 5 years, because right now with interest rates the way they are, the economy is gonna pick up eventually.
Yes.
But the people that are spending the time and doing the work now, by the time they hit 2-3 years down the road, they're 2 to 3 years ahead of everybody else. Yeah. So you can literally own a market. We're playing so much bigger because any podcast that starts today or any mortgage advisor that starts today, how are they going to catch up with me? There's no way they're going to be able to pump out that level of content. See? And that's why it makes sense what you're doing.
And that's what I say to my students and my clients and the people that I talk to. Back to the 1%. You know what it means if there's only 1% that are using? You've got no competition. It's a blue ocean. The time is now. Jump on it. Don't waste the opportunity.
And you can help them create and curate content that speaks to your industry.
Yes.
That's a huge competitive advantage. I will tell you that because most marketers I couldn't have a finance conversation with them if I tried.
Yeah. And most of the marketers can't.
They can't.
Most of them can't.
Look at you, genius. All right. Okay. All right. What is the best part about going on podcasts for you?
It's
How come you're
fun.
leveraging them? What's fun about it?
we're just sitting here having a conversation, like a conversation with a friend.
Right.
And yet I don't even want to think about how many people are going to see it because I'm going to get nervous again. But, you know, I can share my story and hopefully my story resonates with someone. And I want to be that beacon of hope that you can do this. Just make the commitment and have the determination and connect with someone to guide you.
Leanne, I'm going to recommend you in a heartbeat because, you know, with Lux Finance, what you're doing is you're actually getting your hands dirty with your clients, and that's what it requires. I respect coaches that you're not looking for a ton of clients. You're looking for the right relationships to invest in because they're going to win with you regardless. Like, you're going to invest and be with them to the finish line until they get there. That's a coach to me. So I appreciate you having like those level of standards. And that's why we have such a, you know, we vet everyone that comes on here. So we're bringing, you know, your insight. You got to look her up. Come on. You ain't got nothing to lose. Like, they can reach out to you and you can have a conversation to see if it's a good fit, right?
Absolutely.
And most of your clients, which is cool thing, is you're in Canada, but most of your clients, actually all your clients are in the U.S.
All my clients are in the U.S.
Let's go. And she's moving here.
Yeah, and I'm
She's moving here, San Diego. I've already got her bags packed. Her Emily's apparently moving here too. Once she visits,
no, she's got a boyfriend at home.
Oh, I got you. Okay, Emily, you can stay there, and Mom will come.
You guys can visit often.
I thoroughly enjoyed having you on.
This has been phenomenal. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Was it everything? Was it better?
Beyond my expectations.
Beyond your expectations.
Beyond my expectations.
Snap. Leanne.